Hi, I'm Claire and this is my TBR for the Queer Lit Readathon. The Queer Lit Readathon is happening from the 1st to the 7th of December. It's hosted by Kathy, Rogan and Anna, and the objective, I guess, is quite simple. You just read books that have a queer main character or are about queer topics. There's not really a amount of books that you need to read or anything like that. There is a bingo card, but I'm not going to be able to do, I think, any lines on the bingo card. I'm not sure. I don't have one that I'm aiming to complete at the very least. I was hoping to be able to read the group read, but it is not available at my library, and I am trying not to buy tons more books right now because I've just done a big declutter of all my books. So I am trying to read some queer books that I already own, and I've got some really exciting stuff to read this week, so let me tell you about the books and what prompts they would fill on the bingo card if I choose to go that way. And before I get started, I want to give a massive shout out to Adriana at Perpetual Pages because they gave me some excellent advice and recommendations for books to read for this readathon, and I'm going to read a few of those. First up, we've got Giant Days Volume 11 by John Allison and Max Sarin. This is a graphic novel about three girls at university who are roomed together in their first year, I guess, and now are just best friends. And the character on the cover here, Daisy, is one of the main characters. She is a lesbian and she has recently been outed to her grandmother who raised her in this volume, and we're about to deal with the fallout of that. So that's, you know, a queer main character, and also this volume deals with more queer issues than previous volumes of the series, I guess, although it's been kind of a major theme of Daisy's arc that she's discovering all of this about herself and kind of dealing with her terrible ex-girlfriend who outed her to her grandmother, which is not cool. And obviously this one is for the graphic novel square of the bingo card. Next up, we've got Dreadnought by April Daniels. This is a YA superhero novel about a trans girl, and this is a book that I've had on my Audible library and I've been aware of for a super long time, just completely forgot that I had it and that it would be perfect for this readathon until Adriana reminded me, so I'm very grateful to them because I've been meaning to read this for a super long time. Like I said, it's a superhero novel about a trans girl. She's not out to anybody yet, but she knows this about herself, that she's a girl, that things as they are right now with everybody knowing her as a boy is just wrong. And then the superhero part of the book comes in when our main character happens upon a superhero who is dying and transfers to her all of their powers. And these powers include for her physical form to reflect who she knows herself to be. So all of a sudden she's in a body that matches her own identity, but she's not out to anybody, and she knows that her family and her dad especially will not be tolerant of that. For the bingo card's prompts, obviously Dreadnought fits with the trans spectrum main character, but it also is own voices because I know the author is trans. I follow her on Twitter. It would also be a new author for me, and I think that's about it. Next up, I've got The Black Tides of Heaven by J.Y. Yang. This is another book that I've had for ages and I've been meaning to read for ages. Obviously, I still have it even though I just did a big declutter of all of my books, so I knew that I still would want to read this, and the cover of it is so beautiful that I know I want to read this series. I have no earthly idea what it's about. I just know that it's set in this fancy world where people don't have gender or don't declare their gender until they are adults or until a certain age, I guess. We follow a set of twins, and one of them declares himself a man and the other declares herself a woman when it comes time to make that choice. That's pretty much all I know about this book. A lot of my friends really loved it. It was a finalist for the Hugo, I think, the year that it came out, and the author is non-binary, so that I think is going to be a really interesting read. And if you're an audiobook person like I am, this one is also available to listen to on SCRIBD. So if you'd like to check it out, I have a SCRIBD sign up link in the description box if you'd like to get a couple of months of free reading, and then I get a month free as well. It's not a sponsorship, it's just a sign up. So if you're interested, that's in the description box. And this one would fit for the Own Voices square as well as author of color. Next up, we've got Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. This is the Lesbian Necromancers in Space book that a lot of people have been raving about this year. I have heard so many great things about this book. I got myself the first edition with the black sprayed edges, and I'm absolutely in love with how this book looks. I started reading it as soon as I got it, got really excited, got really into it, read like I think 80 pages or something like that. And then I put it down because Nonfiction November happened and I got excited about reading nonfiction, and I would like to finish this because I was enjoying it very much. And I would like to know what the heck everybody is talking about. I have heard something that's making me like think I know a spoiler that happens at the end of the book, and I know there's a second book, so I'm like, I want to see how that all fits together. This one would fit for the new author square for me for the bingo card. Another brand new release that would fit the new author square for me as well is Sisters of the Vast Black by Lena Rather. Now, I'm not 100% sure whether or not this book has queer main characters or themes, but it has been filed by many people on their Goodreads TBR as LGBTQ+, and it is taking place on a living ship where a bunch of nuns are, and it kind of seems like there's just women in this book, so it seems like the LGBTQ+ themes are very plausible to happen in this book. I wasn't sure whether to even bring it up or not because I don't want to recommend like non-queer books in this TBR, but I'm very excited to read it, and I'm kind of waiting for a friend of mine who's reading this at the moment to like give me the yay or nay for reading it this week specifically. Next up, I've got The Lady's Guide to Celestial Mechanics by Olivia Waite, which is a historical female-female romance that I mentioned I started reading earlier this year, and I would like to finish before the end of the year because it was so lovely. I enjoyed it so much. It fits for this readathon for both new author, because I've not read anything else from her before I started this book, and also for historical fiction as well. I'm very excited to finish it. It's quite short, so I don't think it will take me too long, and it's about a young woman who is an astronomer and just wants to do some science, except that it's, you know, historical times and people aren't very happy to let her do science until she finds support and protection and patronage from the widow of a famous explorer who has all these scientific connections, and of course they start living together and they become friends and then they smooch, and I'm very excited to see where the story goes because various people who have read it have told me it's just a delightful read. I just wanted to mention really quickly that during Nonfiction November I read Sorted, a transgender memoir by Jackson Bird, which I really enjoyed. I have been watching Jack's channel for ages and ages. He's the Will It Waffle guy, if you didn't know, and he also obviously makes a lot of videos about trans issues, and they are super interesting and educational. Really like his filming style and everything. He's doing Vlogmas right now, and I really enjoyed the memoir. A lot of the stuff that he talked about in the book he'd talked about in various videos, but it was also really cool to hear all of it because I listened to the audiobook and he reads it as well, so it was a lot of fun, even though obviously there's a lot of really difficult stuff that he talks about. I know because I watch his videos that it does have a happy ending for him. You know, if you can call someone's life a happy ending, like he is doing stuff that he really likes now, so that's my non-fiction pick that I would have read this week if I hadn't just read it last week. That's Sorted, transgender memoir by Jackson Bird, and it's available on SCRIBD as an audiobook that he reads, so highly recommend that. And that would obviously be non-fiction, Transpec MC, and own voices, so like three squares in the same column at the same time. I just can't get my hands on the group read, otherwise it would be a bingo right there. So there we go, that is my kind of like extended TBR for this week. Obviously I'm not gonna read all of these books in 1 week because I have quite a lot of work to do this week. It's going to be a little bit hectic, but this is what I want to be choosing from this week. I like doing TBRs where I gave myself more choices than I think I'm going to need, because then I am less tempted to wander off of the TBR into completely random picks. you enjoyed this video, if you're also doing the Queer Lit Readathon, let me know what you are reading in the comments below, and let me know if you're going for a bingo or anything like that, because I don't know, I really like a bingo card. If you'd like to see more from me, you can check out a previous video on screen right now. And if you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button that's on my face for a new video from me every week. I've been Claire, thanks so much for watching, and see you soon.